Hello everyone, this is Perryman, part of Team SSG, doing my sprint review on my level. Seeing here, we are going to open project from the Perforce page. My level this milestone is kind of based on character progression a little more. I have a talent tree set up. I did some extra PFI stuff, so my level is kind of just a cyberpunk city that's showing off kind of aspects of being able to level up and do your talent tree stuff. If we go in, you start an elevator, you can see the ships coming in. It's like a cyberpunky city. Grab the gun. You can shoot the enemies in here. If I kill all of them, I will get to level 1. As you see, it's for level 1. Did add a couple hidden things, like there's an extra engram you can get in here if you are looking. And I got an extra pistol, got an extra hand cannon. But part of that, you saw I hit level 1. Actually, I'll get out of the way of taking damage. My talent tree, there is now 3 talent trees, so you get to hit level 1, you can take a class, and each talent tree has a different class, and the class has a weapon specific to them. Hunter has a sword that you can pull out the sword and do a melee attack with, and then you could do a dash forward ability on anyone that you touch will get damaged. The Titan has a hammer that you throw it and it'll summon like a well of fire. And then the Warlock has a scythe that throws an electric scythe out. We'll just do Warlock, and as you see, we'll have like a talent point, so we can put that in there. And yeah. So if we get out of the talent points, oops. Now if I press V, there's a melee attack. But if I hold V, I now have the scythe, and I can throw its ability. Guess there's a bug with this gun. Yes, there must be a bug with these guns, so we'll just restart real quick. It's gonna work for me. Alright, well, let's restart it. That might be a bug with, there is problems with, we don't have pictures for some of the guns in the inventory system. That could be a problem with it, but if we just speed through this real quick, we can get through the entire level. Through it. I will actually choose an ability. Go with Warlock's damage or well, healing well. Keep going like you see level 2, so you can progress through level. There's like a nice cityscape, and you have the kind of ship to get to, and like it's on the image, or it's on the window when you first get in. You see the enemies are now dropping some ammo too, so you can get a little extra ammo. You see some PFI stuff I did, as you can see, when level comes up, get level, ammo as ammo, and then when the level up shows up, it shows for a little bit, and it shows how much you're at and how much you gained from killing that target. And I also added the overshield, as you can see above. If I take some damage, you see overshield takes damage first, and it also will regen, but the regen time is significantly longer than the time of like the health is. And the goal is kind of just to get down here. This is like the last boss fight with the boss, Sentinel, and then destroy the turrets to finally get to the ship. John added turret blow up sounds. It's actually really nice. Helps distinguish that you killed them. And then you get to the ship and you stop, and that's game over for this section. Yeah, like I said, the talent tree took a while to get done and dusted. That's the main things I worked on was level progression. Of course, this level of showing off some of that progression stuff, and then some PFI stuff for that progression. And the next.
Hello, my name is Nandan Jadhav, and today I will be doing my sprint review for this week. The goal of this week was more along the same lines as last time, where each team member worked on their own individual features and levels, and said feature would be used in their level. So yeah, the level or feature more so that I focused on this week was a triple dash with an internal cooldown. And the cooldown itself is 5 seconds per dash, and you can stack up to anything. And overall, the dashes add up to less horizontal movement covered than the jetpack, because that's what it's meant to be, like an alternate type of movement that the player could opt for instead of the double jump jetpack feature. So you still have your double jump feature, but you can choose if you don't want it and want to opt for the dash instead. It allows you to maneuver through areas comparatively better. So the dash just you dash in the direction you are facing, and once again you can stack 3 and there's an internal cooldown of 5 each. Another thing I added was the damage indicators, which show the player where they're taking damage from. So I'm taking damage from the right side, it'll show up and I can react accordingly. Now this damage indicator functionality is done with the apply point damage function, and I only tampered with or changed the turret enemy to have this point damage function integrated in with the rest of the code. So a lot of the other enemies do not have the point damage function, and therefore the damage indicators do not work for them. But we'll definitely implement this in all enemies from before and the ones we work on after. I didn't get a chance to work on a bunch of widgets that I would have liked to for the dash itself, for its cooldown and the number of dashes you do have. This broken lever, which doesn't open the door, which makes the player explore the area and figure out how they could use the environment itself and progress through level through alternate routes, because that's a big thing I like for my levels, is just having different areas you can go through while reaching the same kind of end objective. There's just a small storage for the player after all the enemies they fight, but also to kind of prepare them for the fight that's to come. I also worked on the grenades, which are currently kind of bugged. They are functional, but there's just an issue with the collision because they get spawned at a very awkward angle, which makes it so just throwing a grenade doesn't make it go through its projectile movement. But when you jump and throw a grenade, it somehow works out. Clearly didn't there, but it might also be because this is a compressed area. But yeah, there's a lot of fine tuning needed for the grenade still. And like in this situation, the dash is useful not only to get high ground easily and effectively, which the dash, the double jump would not have given you. So just giving the player a choice between these two types of movement was the main goal of this feature. And yeah, with some additional player facing information for this feature, I feel it could be a very viable core feature alongside the double jump jetpack. And eventually these two will be implemented in the skill tree. Like you can unlock this dash and you can opt to pick it. But yeah, that is my level for now. Not as polished, definitely not as well thought out as the previous one, but it's functional and it showcases how the dash can be used. And hopefully this video showcases how I want to implement and work on this dash moving forward. So yeah, that's
Hello, my name is John Balawat. I am part of Team SSG, and today I'll be presenting what I worked on for this sprint. Alright, let's just open up my level. Alright, so for the level, my user story is, as a player, I want a level that will utilize all of the character's abilities and include multiple weapons hidden in the map so they can infiltrate and explore the enemy base. In order to do this, the completion criteria for this level will be, there will be multiple types of objectives around the level. There will be black fog doors that will block doorways until the objective is complete. The ogre boss will spawn once the player reaches the final room, and an ending level will show a cinematic of the player leaving the base exploding. So let's go ahead and move on. So here we have the first mission, which is to infiltrate the enemy base, with the markers pointing over here. Let's go ahead and move over to there. So you get here, it's going to tell us to shoot the vent down there. Let's go ahead and shoot that out, jump down. As we saw before, this is something that we can shoot, and this will lead on to the next issue that I had for this sprint. Alright, so for the next issue that I had, I wanted to focus on player facing for the set chest. And for this issue, it is, as a player, when I open a chest, I want a sound to play to let me know that I successfully interacted with it. And for this completion criteria, it says once a player interacts with the chest, play opening sound at its location. And once the player interacts with the chest, add a light emitter when it opens. And there we go. Got our engram, and it shows we got a submachine gun there. Alright. So let's go ahead and head up these stairs. And this is the first type of objective that I added into the game, which is to kill all the enemies within a certain room. Let's go ahead and do that. see our objective's done and it clears out. The black fog door opened over here. And this is going to lead us to the second type of objective that I have, which is to plant bombs within a room. Gotta take care of these guys first. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on this. Alright, so for the bomb objective, I have an issue made for that. And that is, as a player, I want a bomb that I can plant within the map in order to take down my enemy bases. For the user story, or for the completion criteria for this, it is a bomb plant location will be shown with an objective distance marker. A player will hold down interact input to start planting the bomb. The planting bomb will fill a progress bar, and if the player stops planting the bomb while in the middle of planting, it'll reset its progress bar. And once the progress bar is filled, the bomb will be placed in its plant location and a sound will play that it was planted. So as you see here, it does have the objective marker distance that tells you how far you are away from the objective. And if we hold down here, start planting, it plays planting sound in the background. And if I were to leave, it would stop and the planting progress bar would be reset. Let's go ahead and plant all of the bombs here. Alright, then you see that the bomb is now planted, and you can see that there's a red light flashing that it's already armed. There is an enemy there, but I'm going to quickly leave him there for a second. Oh, let's go ahead and do this first, actually. Alright, so while that's going, let me go ahead and get the last issue that I had worked on. And for this issue, it is, as a player, I would like to switch my weapons with different levels in order to collect guns with higher damage in order to kill my enemies faster. For the completion criteria for this, it states, when a player picks up a weapon, its damage level increases with the player's level. When the player switches guns from their inventory, it will retain its level and weapon damage. So what this means is, if I were to pick up a gun that is a level 2 weapon, its damage will be increased compared to its level 1. So for example, if I were to go in the inventory and I had another type of weapon in the inventory slot, if I were to switch back and forth between, it would retain its amount of damage that it does. So currently right now, since I am, I believe, a level 2, since I am a higher level, I believe this is going to be a primary weapon here, the damage is going to be higher than normal. Let's switch to that so we can see what type of damage it does. So yeah, we are level 2 and it should do 17 damage, but this is a shotgun, so it's going to do, if I hit all of it, it might do, I think 60. Oh, that was too fast there. Let's see, through this room up here. Actually, missing some bombs. Oh, this one. One. And since we do have levels, we do have a skill tree here. Let's go ahead and choose Warlock. We'll do health regen. Alright. Let's plant the last bomb. Alright, and it should open the door here. So let's test out this damage there. Oh, alright, there we go. So we saw it said 60. So let's go ahead, switch back to this, and back to the gun, and this should go back to being 60 damage. There we go, yeah. Let's take care of these guys real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and switch weapons here. So now I'm going to need this one. Alright, so now let's go get into the last issue that I added, which is the mini boss. And for this, the user story is, as a player, I would like to have a mini boss to fight to give me more of a challenge, challenging fight before reaching the main boss. So for this completion criteria, it'll be the mini boss will have a significant amount of health compared to the base enemies. The mini boss will attack with a wide slash attack. The mini boss will have a health displayed above its head, and the mini boss will have a special attack where it will charge at the player and knock them back. Let's go ahead and see if we can try to get to this over there. Yep. Take care of these guys. That weapon. For some reason. Just try not getting hurt. That's the mini boss right there. However, he does take a lot of performance whenever he does his dash moves. I'm not sure why. It might be the particle emitters that's coming out. So you can see that he does have a significant amount of health compared to the other enemies. And he shows with a red, that red circle is the spot that he's going to dash to next. Let's just show what happens if he does hit us. Oh. And he does knock us back after a hit. Oh. Oh. Alright. Not sure what happened here. Go ahead and redo that. Try to quickly get through this. Back to the spawn objective. Shotgun again. Alright. Let's try to get through this one quickly. Oh, what's that jump? Almost got him. There we go. It does have death animation. Then two. Alright. There we go. Now we're on to the final boss. Turrets. Forgot about him. Some cover. Oh. Alright. Let's try that again. Try to recover some health. Come on. Almost there. There we go. Once the boss is defeated, it goes into the cinematic view of the level, and it's done. So that is my level. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Gabriel, and today I will be playtesting my prototype level 2. The level begins in a hangar without the minimap. I wanted to disable the minimap to make the player feel more stressed out without being able to see the next part of the map or what they're expecting. They're given the first step, which is investigate the derelict ship, which indicates the player that they're actually on a ship. If they look back, they will see the vessel they came from, a little bit of the ship, and the hangar doors which are currently sealed. To the left, they can see 2 ships, some sort of trolley, which is carrying stuff that came out of the ship. And if they spawn, they look to the in front to the right, they'll see a door which the player might be attracted to. If they run all the way over here, they'll see that there's some sort of a collapsed boxes that sort of form a staircase and an open crate taking them over there. I feel like I should say that the double jump was removed in order to showcase the dash, which will be used in the first section of this level, and that this level is lacking certain parts of it due to time constraints and just not being able to finish it correctly, but it still showcases the full intent. After the player reaches the top, they'll see that they can make the jump using the dash, and by using the mantle feature, it makes sure that they can actually make the jump. After this, they will have to repeat the same process and use the dash to make this.
The player is then greeted with investigate further, something isn't right. As you can see, a lot of the computers are tossed around and blocking stuff with some blocked doors, and the player is attracted or might be attracted to the yellow thing at the end, which is a loot, the newly redesigned chest, which actually pushes the gun or what it has further. I introduced the lamps again, but they don't light a lot this map because of how the lighting is built here. So I just put a little bit, some breadcrumbs, and the player know that the red ones are closed doors, while the green ones are doors they can go through, which they slide on once the player reaches there. The player is then greeted by a hallway with a lot of locked doors, and has to just look around and investigating. They given the task find a way inside, since they see a broken door with a green door in the background. The player sees another red light and might be attracted to it. See that there's a door open. Once the player enters the dual lock, they see like it's some sort of a storage room for the ship. And by some barrels to the right, they see some sort of vent. Once the player crawls into the vent, they will start this travel throughout the vent. For the full level, there should be markings on the walls to make the player not feel bored throughout those long crouch. After the player drops down, they can continue their journey throughout the ship, which they will reach the first major part, which is the engine room. They will see that there are a lot of enemies, and this is where the new objective type comes in, which is eliminate all objectives. What this objective does is that it blocks off a door which the player cannot access unless he kills all the enemies. We also added sound effects for when the player reaches a level. The AI got a little bit more smarter for this. Still a little bit a work in progress since the bullets don't do damage now, but they sort of work more now. Once the player finishes, it uses the same platform as I used for my original prototype level. The player can then continue onwards, completing the engine room, which is tasked with keep investigating. Player then continues to move forward and sees a room full of enemies, and they shoot at them and kill them. In the background, they can see a white door with some red lights, again foreshadowing what might be accessible. You see one over here with the green door. They might go into it and see there's just another storage room. They go further, they have a choice between the white door and the green door. If the player chooses to go in the green door, they might see that there's a chest in here, which is currently empty. After that, the player has only one choice, which is to go in the white door. But what could the white door be? They see there's some sort of a platform looking thing and a button they can press. After the player presses the button with the interact, they see it's an elevator. The player has now been taught that the white door indicates that there's an elevator. After the player exits out, they are greeted by some more enemies, which they might want to kill. After the player is done killing the enemies or just pushing forward, they see a blue door. It's another type of door that the player is taught. Since they see that there's no other open doors, might be more inclined to go through the blue door. After the player exits the blue door, they realize it's a sort of an airlock. And they see over to the right there's some sort of strange looking thing. The player is then tasked with traversing the part of the wreckage that is floating in space. player then jumps over here and sees that there's some sort of turret, which they might want to kill if they don't want to take damage. After the turrets are defeated, the player can freely pass through the wreckage. The level has checkpoints in various sections, as in right now. So if the player were to die right now, they will be sent back to the blue door. There's a jump that will highlight the mantling feature that we have included. And when they reach this, they were tasked with enter the strange looking thing. I thought it was a little bit of a comedic relief. So the player enters it, they're taken through a sort of a scenic journey where they can take a breather, relax, and see the scale of the ship they're in. You can also see there's some sort of a asteroid, since they're in a asteroid field, and one of those ships that they saw earlier is just floating up in space, which means something happened. The ride takes a little bit. I would like to speed it up for the next set. After the player concludes the journey, they are dropped off in what seems to be another one of the airlocks, and they are tasked with reaching the bridge and radioing for help. Since they don't have access to the minimap, it indicates that they have no contact with the outer world, and they're by themselves. So the player then pushes through the other airlock and sees no enemies. My original vision for this was to have a lot of dead corpses around, but no enemies, which is because of a more ominous aura to it. The player then walks over, sees the red lights moving over here, and lo and behold, there's another green door they can go through. The player sees another broken door, and what seems to be another one of those chests. The player is then told that it was a trap, because the big bad guy, he can be killed. It's a little bit broken right now, but he's supposed to be locked up inside this room, and when I walk in over here, he's supposed to be released, but turns out some of the AI still somehow have the ability to open and close doors. Which will be fixed for the next section. After the player runs over here, they see another one of those elevators, so they walk in. After the player goes through the elevator, which the player it exits another airlock and is tasked with jumping into the funny looking thing. Originally this would have been a second jumping puzzle, but due to time constraints I had to shorten it and to keep the level a little bit more short. The player then hops into another one of those the portals, but this time it takes them around to the left side of the ship. It's a more straightforward path, taking them closer to the bridge of the ship. It's not more scenic, but and they see that they're approaching some sort of a green thing. Once they enter it, they see it was some sort of a airlock. They're greeted by another set of airlocks and they're giving the task that the bridge is closed to keep pushing. Once they exit, they see that there's a lot more enemies here, and they seem a little bit more tougher than before. So the player then has the choice to either kill them or run past them. In my case, I chose to kill them. Since the enemies now drop ammo, I shouldn't be afraid of taking a fight. The player then makes his way over here following the red lights, and they see a set of stairs. Originally, there should be dead people or enemies just lying around, leading up to the stairs, signifying that there's probably going to be a fight soon, or something is approaching. The player is then shown another set of elevators, this time without the doors, as they're approaching the bridge section. The player is then taken up a floor, continues to a little short hallway, and they see a door in the horizon. Since this is the way to reach the bridge, they see another sort of elevator, but this elevator, instead of going up, it takes the player horizontally really fast. The player then sees another green door, and once they open it, they enter a map room with a lot of enemies, and the ogre that was supposed to chase the player while being invulnerable is now the player is now able to kill him. After the player defeats the little minions, the player can now shoot at the boss and start damaging him. The boss has one of those attacks which is a ranged attack, and if I get close enough, he'll do another slam attack. After the boss is killed, the door should open as intended, which lets the player enter the over there the bridge of the ship. But this is where the level ends for now. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Brian Fan, and I'll be going through the level I created for this week's milestone. For my level, I wanted to have the player start in like a city. So the starting area is like some kind of area where there's like buildings and everything. The city is kind of run down, but they're also trying to rebuild at the same time. In this chest, the player will get their first weapon, which will be an assault rifle. And for this sprint, I worked on mantling. So after you get to here, you can see that I can grab onto the ledge, and then I can mantle up, and the camera shake shows. AI, it should notice you, but oh. Level up. Reload. All basic melee enemies like this guy, who will just hit you like that, drop primary ammo. So whatever gun is in a primary slot in your inventory will be filled with ammo. For this first area, I wanted to have like cars or like these rovers move these trailers so that it looks like they're moving and trying to fix the city up. And then this trailer will be like have the chest and has some ammo on it. So in this one you get a sniper rifle, which you can equip in your primary slot. So it uses heavy ammo. Yep. Change back to the assault rifle. The next area, I wanted to have like a building where there's like a bunch of computers so people can work. And then stairs. There's an enemy on the stairs. Second area is where all the enemies are running around. The sound was an exploding enemy who does a lot of damage, so you want to genuinely dodge them. Nope, unless I get hit by them. And then these railings here, jump, you can mantle them. When you fall down, it's falling down. There's more, I put more trailers down, so it looks like they've been unloading and loading resources onto these, so you can transport and research them. In this next area, I tried to replicate a water tower that's fallen over, which is why there's so much debris over here. Which slips past it is the park area, where it's the final area full of enemies, and the player has to get to the object to analyze so that they can unlock the door of the garage to get out of the level. So just gonna real quick. Start analyzing the object. Ooh. To sprint, I also added a mini map, which you can see in the top right. You can see the player has an arrow, and you can also see the gun if you're close enough. Additionally, you can also see the enemies if they're close enough, and you can see these ammo packs. It stopped working. Oh, there you go. And then once you're done analyzing, there'll be the door on this garage will open up, which you can see. Oh, you can see enemies, and you see the ammo that shoots out on the mini map. Yep, the level is done. The door opens, and the player can run through, and then they'll hit a collision box that shows the end of the level.